This is John Colo with growingyourgreens.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you. I'm here in the Los Angeles area. And the reason for the episode today is because I'm visiting Wendi, fan of Wendiland. If you haven't seen the original video I made with her, linked down below, she literally grows in a 6-foot alleyway, lots of food, but now she's taking it up a level, up a notch to the next level. She's actually growing on the roof. And also she expanded into her parkway to grow in this parkway. This is like basically a goji berry that doesn't make the berries, but are used for the leaves, which is new to me. She also has this incredibly large and beautiful purple tree collard plant. Everybody should have a tree collard plant here in Southern California, whether it's the green tree collards, which are more common in Southern California, or the more rare purple tree collards that she has here. It's just like taking over. It's so massive. I mean, imagine never having to go to the store again to buy 6 kale leaves for like $3. She has all she could eat. And of course, down below, she has ground covers such as nasturtiums and mallow and even some stinging nettle and amaranth that are completely edible. Anyways, the reason for this episode is the roof. So let's get up on the roof and share with you guys how she's expanded her growing area from just a small parkway and her alley to now using the roof to grow more food, because she has a townhouse that has a very small lot here in Los Angeles. All right, so now we're here with Wendi of Wendiland. So Wendi, what is your YouTube channel that you make some amazing videos of?
Thank you for having me, John. It's Wendiland. Well, Wendiland, one word.
All right, link down below. And Wendi, why are you growing all this food here in your small front yard? Actually a lot in pots, and now your parkway, as well as your alleyway, and then you've even expanded up to the roof. Like this is an extreme plant lady with like so many things growing in every nook and cranny. It's insane.
Yeah, it's all about maximizing my growing space here, and I like to show people that not just my intention, it's not just to show, but obviously I do it because I love it, and that you don't need a big space to grow food. Just work with what you got, in the present, instead of just looking too much in the future that you never get things started. And I do intend to put things more on the ground, so I focus so much of my time working on the new, the rooftop garden right now. So yeah, I still need to work through this and then building everything better and taking stuff out of the pots and growing them in the ground. So that's more to come.
And of course, if you want to learn more about Wendi and all the amazing plants she grows, she has on her YouTube channel, videos about all these different plants, and more importantly, how to even use them, cook with them, prepare with them, and all that stuff. So Wendi, let's head into your alley and show people that real quick, but then head up to the roof. All right, Wendi, so now we're here in your alley, which is like literally I could touch both walls, just about like 6 feet across here. And she has this like maxed out, growing things vertically up both sides, actually, not even just this open side, but also this other side. So like, Wendi, what's really your secret to growing in this small, tight space? Like, how do you make it happen?
Building upwards is probably one of the biggest things, and to grow the right things, because there's a lack of sun here. There's a bit of a strategy involved, and some would have to grow first. You can't put everything down at the same time sometimes. Yeah, because they'll just shade off too much things and build upwards. Yeah.
I think another tip that I would give you based on, Wendi, is that she has a lot of containers. A lot of them actually are on wheels. So she has all these raised beds that are kind of narrow, that are tall. So she doesn't bend over. And she's also built up raised beds also. And basically on both walls, she has places to plant stuff. And then she just has like a walkway that's luckily maybe 2 feet that you could just kind of walk down, and you could really see these are some of the planters she has built. That's really nice. That basically she grows things upwards.
Yeah, upwards. And that was a very good point, John, because I like things to be interchangeable around here, more flexible. So wheels really help out. Because say if I need to scoot out even to just, collect or sweep up or whatever I need to do. Yeah.
Then these are new beds since I maybe been here. What are these things?
Yeah, so these are ones that are made by Crescent Garden. This is a water reservoir down here. So this is a self-watering container. I just fill it up in here, water in here, and then this is an indicator. This is the indicator that tells you when you need to water. So this is all the way up here, means 100% full. And it'll just kind of slowly start to drop, and then that's when you know how much water's left in there. So this one, because it's more in the shade, I can go without watering it between 1 to maybe 1.5 months long, sometimes even 2 months, depending on what you're growing, how big the plants are. They're taking up water, if it's warm, you know, like the environment. But yeah, it can go without watering for a few weeks at least.
Now, is this a dumb self-watering container,
It is.
Wendy, or a smart one? Does it have like, is it just like a container where, you know, you have to put the soil down the bottom and just basically sucks it up a little bit at a time?
Yeah, it's basically a wicking system.
Okay.
So it's not a smart one, but it's smart because it can do it itself, and I can be dumb
But
at it.
it's constantly wet, so it's like,
Yep.
you know, I like the ones that actually, there's some that that dry out and then water and it cycles, but those are like, and that's not even
right.
AI or anything, it's just like through.
Just the way it's designed.
Yeah, it's the way it's designed.
That is a smart design. Yeah, this one has like a cone shape that you can still fill all the soil in
Yeah,
like a cone
right.
shape, and it can sucks up by itself whenever.
And maybe
you
that's
need
why your pepino melon's not doing so good, because it might need wet and dry cycles, whereas yours just has a wet cycle all the time, pretty much.
it. Yeah, but it doesn't seem to. I mean, it just rained, so it's hard to really gauge right now. But when I stuck my finger in before, it doesn't feel too wet.
I see.
And I've never actually, pepino melon never done
Does good for
that
you.
well for me. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. I have to still figure that out. So it's more to learn.
And so she's growing the ube. So tell us what this is on the ube, Wendy. I've never seen this before.
Yeah, so they call this an air potato, but this is not the true air potato because you cannot eat this. What you eat is only harvesting the tubers in the ground. This is basically the seed pod. So you can take this and plant it and you'll grow a whole new plant, or you can take parts of that tuber or almost like the eye, kind of like a potato, and you can grow it that way. But yeah, these are basically how you can, this is one of the ways you can propagate them. They start really tiny like this, and then all of a sudden you forget about it, they can just bulk up like this, like very quickly when there's enough moisture.
And then tell everybody what the ube is, because most people, unless you're maybe Filipino, you wouldn't really know what that is.
Yeah, that's right. So this is actually the true yam. What we call, like we have for Thanksgiving, that orange colored yam. It's actually sweet potatoes. So this is a completely different family. You can.
That's an Ipomea.
Yeah.
Batis is sweet potatoes, and this is what a
dia, something. You
Right.
can put the name here. Yeah, but it's completely different.
Discoria or something.
Yeah. Sounds like it. Sounds familiar. It starts with a D, Discord. Yeah. So this one, the biggest difference between this and the true sweet potato is that sweet potatoes can be eaten raw. This, you have to cook it fully. And it's got a little bit of like a slime. It's more neutral flavor. It's not sweet. So very, very different.
And on the sweet potatoes, you could eat the leaves raw or cook the leaves, and then you could eat the sweet potatoes raw or cook them.
Yeah, and this you cannot eat the leaves at all.
You got to make sure you cook only the tubers,
Yep.
underground growth. And these usually grow in the tropics.
Yep. They have acclimated.
Well,
they
yeah,
died for like 3 times.
Oh, really?
I grew in the winter. Now they're
Well, it's getting warmer too.
balancing each other out. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks amazing.
Yeah. It's not its best, but it's surviving for winter. Here's December. Oh, here's the Okinawa spinach.
Okay, nice.
I need to plant it out
it's
somewhere. I
still in
haven't
a
picking. I had over there. I did really well, and then I moved it somewhere else, and you know how that story goes.
So Wendy has a lot of plant starts. Are you still doing plant sales, Wendy, on your website?
I am, but I'm gonna do a lot more. It's gonna be restocked for spring. So I'm gonna do a lot more propagation in the winter. But yes, there are some seeds and small selection of plants with some seeds available right now on the website.
And tell everybody what you specialize in. You know, I love Wendy because actually I've gotten a lot of my rare plants from Wendy, actually, that I grow, that sometimes I curse her like it's taking over and stuff, but like it's a good thing to have.
It is.
But like, you know, she doesn't have just common vegetables that you could find at like, you know, your local nursery. She has very uncommon, like rare and medicinal things.
Yeah, and that's what I share on the website. It's sort of like my philosophy and, well, just like my style, you know, like because I have a small space and I've always had the love for rare heirlooms and just rare, unique plants in general. So that's what I also host on my website.
Cool. And Wendy, tell everybody about this plant and where did you get it?
Oh, well, you know, how John collects things and I collect things. This one came from John from his trip to Florida, right?
Florida, yeah. From Josh Jameson, link down below to that video. You could learn where I learned about this originally. This is the jagged leaf longevity spinach.
And it's more fuzzy.
And it's more fuzzy. It tastes a little bit different too.
A little different, a little stronger. Not
And I lost my plants, so that's why I give Wendy plants. So
Back
now
up,
she
back
has
up.
so many plants growing down. This thing looks completely amazing. So I'm so glad I gave it to her. And I'm getting rained on.
confetti, Papalo confetti.
I'm getting rained on by the Papalo confetti seeds. So tell everybody about Papalo real quick, because it's one of my favorite vegetables too.
Yes.
Leafy greens, herbs.
Yeah, so this is also one of my favorites because it's so pungent. You don't need a whole lot of them, and it's just...
The flavor's amazing.
The flavor's amazing.
It's like there's no other leaf like this.
Yeah, they say that it's sort of like a substitute for coriander, what do you call it? Cilantro, but
it's totally different.
It's totally different. I mean,
It's
kind
like
of reminds me,
sweet
but
and like...
citrusy and floral, very strong, and a little bit goes a long way. They make my guacamole taste really authentic.
Yeah, I would say so. And like in Southern California, they don't get snow, but if you shake this, it's raining Papalo seeds. It's even better.
Oh yeah, and these seeds are also right now available on Wendiland.com.
They're stuck all over you.
Oh, I have done a video where I would like shook it all over me. The seeds are a little bit pokey though when it gets into your fabric.
Oh, okay. Well, good. I'll take some home and I'll spread them all around everywhere.
Let's play dart. Let's play
dart. They'll drop when we're walking, and then they'll be coming up in people's lawns or in the sidewalk.
Yeah, they're pretty drought tolerant, so maybe they'll be a nice little wild food for Vegas. Right. Yeah, they really just germinate. Like they're all volunteers now after I've grown them like once. This particular variety, it's a little bit like got more reddish to the stems.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen that one.
So the other one I got at different
like
nurseries. Green. Yeah, green, but they didn't seem to be as hardy. This one is the
maybe
one
I need to get yours. You always have the best stuff, Wendy.
Yeah, but I have good taste.
I'll have to take some with me. All right, well, let's check out while we're really here. We're gonna head up to the roof. All right, guys, so we're climbing up on the roof, and this is Wendiland's rooftop garden, as you can see. All right, Wendy, so what do you got going on up here, and how much space do you have up here?
I don't know how much space I have up here. Would you say like, 1,200 square feet, maybe?
I would say that you're not grown enough yet. There's so much empty roof.
No, I don't want to, not maximize, but I'm trying to be mindful. But
the weight, yeah.
Yeah, the weight. But I am trying to, I look forward to seeing everything fill up. I'm not done with all this. This is, I'll tell you my plan. I'm going to do a lot of plant starts over here and some seeding stuff.
They'll be light, yeah.
Yeah, they'll be light, and then it'll be a good way to kind of utilize the sun and just growing some stuff from seed. And this is like a wicking system here. I need to fill up more water. But and then the compost thing and soil would be on.
You're doing compost here on the roof?
This is whatever compost, just the stuff from the roof would just stay on the roof. It's in this thing, but I think I'm gonna move this over, and I found a 3x3, what do you call this? Flood tray.
Flood table.
That's already drilled. Someone didn't want it. It was out in the street, so I hauled
Awesome.
Yeah, so I'm gonna put it up here. I think I'm gonna start like because they're shallow, you can spread out the weight more easily.
Right.
So I can grow like shallow rooted plants, maybe right here, and then this compost bin would just be moved over there. I'm trying to grow things that are not past my height, I think, or roughly around my height, but the shorter plants would go along closer to the walls, so it's like less visible. And
so tell us your plan up here, because I think I originally came up and kind of talked to you about some of the things I would do, but what did you end up doing and why?
Yes, what I ended up doing is I like things to look more like a garden, like designed out, a little more architecture in it. And, of course I love my trellises and being able to, it's funny because I have more space out here, more sun, but I'm still so in that mindset, what can I grow more in like a small amount of space, just because I'm being mindful again about the weight issue. So I'm trying to maximize what I can grow in these flood trays. So having this, and I got like the Luffa, that's still, because I started this garden in the middle of summer, so that's still growing. I'm gonna try to see how far I can get with it. And then I started some like sweet peas. This is like a mammoth sweet peas. They're in such shallow pots, but we'll see how it does.
How heavy is each one of these trays? Oh, it's kind of heavy.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, especially when it's wet. And then they are weight it down a little bit. This doesn't weigh that much.
No, it's this pot right here is like pretty heavy, the soil.
Right, it's just 5 gallons. So yeah, the bitter melons is still looking good on this one.
Oh, here's a nice bitter melon right here.
Yeah, like that other one I started out sooner, finished, but this bitter melon is still doing well, so I'm just gonna keep it. And then, yeah, so I'm thinking of doing more shade, maybe some lettuces on this side, because as the vines kind of would grow and create some shade for like some more shade or part shade loving plants on this side. Right now everything is in sun, so it doesn't really matter. And then just kind of creating more like a border, more like a garden that you wouldn't know where, you know, like that's on the rooftop. So I wanted some design, some aesthetics with like some edible flowers, some greens. I might even have like nasturtiums or some sort of like things that drape over, spills and cover so you can't see the bottom. It'll just be a lot nicer and more like cottage-like. This is the GreenStalk, and I don't want, this one can actually go up to 7 tiers, but this is just 3. I'm keeping everything short here.
Are you gonna put something in this top tier or no?
No, this is where you water.
Oh, that's the watering.
And then it drips down, yeah, all the way down. And I made this one, it's rotatable. Right now I just stuck this one. I'll have to figure out a different way, but this works for now to water. But like this thing can rotate in the base. And I got some different radishes, like all these heirloom varieties. The ones that, I forget the specific names, but they look like little watermelon, pieces of watermelon when you like slice them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then like...
Well, watermelon radish.
Yeah, I think that's like the common name, yeah. And then there's like the red heart beauty radish.
Oh, like from Baker
that is
Creek?
Actually the name of it. Yeah, from Baker Creek. That's, I guess that's the actual name for it. And then there's like the beets that have like that swirly look thing.
Chayoga beets, Wendy.
Yes, thank you. I'm so bad with names. And then these other ones that are like the beets that are just deep, almost like black color. So not the red bull blood or something. It's the one that's even deeper than that.
Bull's blood?
Yeah, but not that one.
Not that one.
Deeper than that. So yeah, it would be fun to kind of switch out and have some edible plants, and I'm able to push to see what I can grow here because there's more sun. I'm more limited in what I can grow in these type of style vertical planters downstairs. But up here, you know, there's more sun. I can try some like shallow like rooted vegetables. Maybe I can grow some vines, even some bitter melons, and they have these trellis that made so you can like have them grow and spill all over. Yeah.
So compare, Wendy, the GreenStalk, which is a soil-based system, to like, you know, they have like hydroponic grow towers. Why are you using the soil one versus the hydroponic one?
Well, first of all, because it's the easiest for me. Like I don't know anything about hydroponics right now. I kind of get the concept, but I've never truly used them, and it just seems like this is what I'm working with right now. And things that are growing from soil just seems to taste a lot better from just what I have eaten. And yeah, it's just also what I have access to as well. And you can grow I think a lot more variety of food because of the depth of this. It actually holds quite a lot of soil compared to some other things. Like you wouldn't be able to, would you be able to grow like root crops with like hydroponic system?
I mean, some types of hydroponic systems, like if in Hydroton, you could potentially do it, but
yeah,
I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, so I have a lot more options to growing in soil. Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, for me, what I'd say is that I always prefer soil because soil is basically how plants grow for the most part in nature. Also, it's very forgiving, right? You know, your pH doesn't have to be exact, you know, the soil nutrients could be in there, and you know, it's just everything's gonna work out without you having to like be a scientist and check everything and give it the right nutrients, or you could burn your plants if you don't. So like I'm not the biggest fan of hydroponics like growing, but if you like it and it's working for you, great. I just prefer soil, and I'd prefer a system like this instead of growing in a hydroponic system myself, because it's just basically like less maintenance, less to worry about. Plants are gonna take care of themselves and you don't have to.
Yep.
And then this is a really nice system because you could just rotate it around. And of course, you know, you could use a system like this to grow inside during the winter. You just got to get, you know, a light set up for it. And, you know, that's what I'd probably recommend over, you know, hydroponic grow tower.
Yeah, you have like a nice light on the top and it gets all around. And yeah, like this is like, there's 6 pockets in each tier. You know, imagine if you can actually put 7 of these, 5 or 7 tiers of this, and then certain plants, like even like the, say like the baby carrots or the baby radishes, you can put up to 3 in each pocket.
Oh wow!
Imagine.
Yeah, the pockets are nice and large, and they're also nice and deep. I think they sent me a GreenStalk. I haven't set up yet.
Oh, I think I saw it.
You saw it in my backyard.
You got one that's actually deeper than this because they have 2 styles. This is the shallow one called the leaf. So the original is deeper.
Oh, I have the original. It's been sitting around a little bit.
There. This one is, yeah, you got to set it up. You should grow like different types of mint per tier. That'd be
a good place to plant mint. Yeah. Absolutely. Yep. Keep it contained.
Yep.
All right, cool. What else you got growing up here, Wendy?
Yeah, so on this side, the bitter melon, I harvest quite a few of those and they're finished. I'm gonna put in some new plants here. But this space, I'm going to be putting a lot more, maybe like cabbages or something, growing some things that takes up a lot of space but that are not too tall. I'm leaving all the taller things in this bed in the front here. Yeah, so like right now I got the wild rose grown for more like for rose hip harvest. These ones are still doing.
Is that from the guy at Baker Creek? Did you get that one?
No, I did
not.
not.
I think mine. I think I lost my plants. I should have given you cuttings.
No. Yeah, this one is, there's thorns in this one. This is my, what do you call it? The Acerilla.
Acerilla cherry, nice.
Yeah, so this is the two slightly different variety. This one is the one I propagated from the one below, and it seems to fruit and flower multiple times throughout the year, and like this tiny one already has all these flowers.
The Acerilla
again.
cherry.
Yeah.
Wow. So Wendy, I'm seeing you using a variety of different types of pots. Can you explain why you're using each? You have the standard plastic pots there. You have some 5G from Epic Gardening fabric pots. Hopefully it's not irradiating us with 5G radiation. You also have the air pruning pots here. Like, why do you have so many different pot types and which ones do you like most?
Okay, so first of all, this is a new space, so everything is testing for me. So are a lot of different ways to grow. I want to see what works best up here, and the way I kind of started selecting my options is by saying which one weighs the least, because I try to keep everything light. And which one do I like the most right now are, I think just like either the regular pots like these or the fabric pots. The air pruning pot, you have to water a lot.
It dries out so fast.
Exactly.
I mean, maybe in a climate where it's not
cool
super,
looking,
yeah, like cool climate.
Yeah, that's why I chose my, okay, I'm gonna do lavender.
And maybe some trees that like to, to get more dry.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the lavender, yeah, that's
so
nice.
I was thinking like lavender and like, what is the other one called? Capers, maybe.
Oh, capers.
Yeah, because what's really nice about air pots is, I mean, it's okay if you use it, you just probably have to set the water to water more frequent or something. But what's nice is that they're so flexible. They're basically panels, right? So you can even add another one to make it deeper, right? You can put two up and build it as high as you want or as wide as you want. They're all like, you can overlap them and screw them on through those holes. So it's really cool. That way I can even use those to form like a border to grow.
Oh,
like
that'd be nice.
bed.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
you could have
so
a bed of,
yeah. So like that's nice for those reasons, and maybe you can even grow something interesting, like put some plugs, like I don't know, stuck a seed in there or something and have it grow all around, and you like cover it. Maybe that would also be a way to like reducing moisture loss. I don't know, maybe. Yeah, and then of course I got more of the different styles of those self-watering containers.
But don't those get heavy with all the water in there?
That's why I didn't get the big one up here. But I just thought I wanted certain things to, as safety, like, because I'm the only person that comes up here. So I do need it to make sure the plants get watered. And that's why this was part of my testing also, to see some things that have like that watering itself, and then this water system. The water system is on a solar timer right now.
I'll have to check that out in a minute.
Yeah.
But tell us about, I see here you have the GrowOyas.
Yeah. I started out before I set up the irrigations. This is what I started
This is a GrowOya, and basically it's a ceramic pot, or basically a pot that is like a bubble. It has a narrow top, and then it kind of gets wider at the bottom, and you fill it up, and the water basically seeps through there, and so you don't have to have irrigation, because it also, how long can this go, Wendy? If you fill it?
If I filled it, even in summer, it was full for, I fill it like twice a week.
Twice a week. So like water 3 days, it would naturally percolate through 3 to 4 days.
Yeah, and it was, I didn't check the actual temperature out here, but touching this, the temperature was like 120, 122.
Wow.
Right? So evaporated, I guess, quite quickly. I wouldn't say these things it was thriving for a while, and then as the plants got bigger, they were pulling more water, so they needed more, and it was drying out faster.
And then it wouldn't do it. You'd have to fill it more often.
Yeah. And then, but then that was the time. Yep.
You got the irrigation.
Yep. But that was like before irrigation. I needed some stuff to keep things alive, and also just to test. Like, I'm curious how well putting things to the extreme and see how they work out. Yeah.
So let's check out your water timer. So basically, this operates on solar power, so you don't need batteries, you don't need to plug it in or anything, right?
Yep. So it is nice that it has an option for you to charge it, like a USB, just in case if there's not sun or enough sun or something. But yeah, it's on solar.
And you haven't had any problems with it?
No, I charged it once at the beginning.
When you bought it?
Yeah, because I wasn't so sure. I don't know why it wasn't picking up something with a battery or something. So I just decided, let's just charge it too. Oh, I think I need a little bit of power to start it, I think, or it was something like that for my experience. But after that, yeah, it was showing usually 97, 98% full.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, yay, yeah.
All right, let's check it out.
So
all right, so this, what's the brand name?
Lumary, Lumary.
So this is your basically solar powered irrigation timer.
Yep.
And it has 4 ports,
cool, right?
which is really nice.
Yeah.
So I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah, me too. I'm going to set up like a misting system and all that for the seedlings and stuff. So it's really nice. It's very easy to set up. Some other ones are...
And does it connect to Wi-Fi and everything, or how does that work?
Yeah, it's connected to Wi-Fi. And just in case, this is a little USB port.
But does it have a battery indicator on here, or only you have to look on the app?
On the app, you
see.
can't see anything on this thing.
I see.
It's
So that's
only,
just a
this
box.
Is what you
and then you could press the button to turn it on, manual. I see.
Yep.
And then you've piped water all the way up here, to your garden. So you want to talk about that process?
Yeah. So there's 2 pipes here. One is for the water.
Coming
up, and then one is to go down. So sending the water, the used water, the runoffs, back down.
And then why don't you want the runoffs sitting on the roof or collecting on the roof?
As a weight issue, but second is all this water is so good, I wanted to just, reuse it and water other plants. And so everything is just kind of keep things in check that way, as light as possible, and then the plants won't be sitting in water. But I do have, because John recommended to put in the bottom. Sometimes I'm like, what? There's such a thing? I didn't even know this thing exists. This invention. so I went over Home Depot looking oh, there it is. So I added that. So I do now have the option to flood those trays if I want to keep that water.
Keep the water in there, right?
Yeah. Temporarily or for whatever reason. It's nice to have options. So I add that one in for every single tray.
I mean, the other thing I would say, it's probably important, when you're watering your plants, and if it overwaters and you don't have the trays like she has set up, which we'll show you guys again in a minute, all that water will then get on the roof, and they just had a roof job done. And then, if you have more standing water on the roof, that's going to wear the roof out faster. So this way, she's she's protecting, with the garden, she's protecting the roof because she's covering more of the roof that's not going to get damaged by the sun, which is how the roof will break down. She's also not letting that area, get water on it from the plants or from rain, because the rain will water her plants, get collected, and then actually send it down to her alley garden to all be used down there.
Yeah. That's why everything is elevated, and it makes a huge difference. Last winter, I put something just directly in contact in the ground,
and the planters.
Yeah, they were growing a little bit and then started suffering. So elevating it really made a big difference.
Oh, the airflow underneath, you think?
Yeah, and probably cooler. Yeah, and then things get dried out. The roof gets dried out pretty quickly after the rain. We had some crazy rain recently, which is not normal for us. It's unusual. So it was a good test for the garden.
All right, so for me, the most important thing when growing on the roof is how can you take care of the roof really and not mess it up, right? Because the roofs are very expensive. I mean, we're having to be growing on a roof. And it was important to me, especially when Wendy set this up, I mentioned that she should use these flood tables, which she ended up getting. I think she got 4x6. They make them, I think I have a 4x8 at my house personally. That's not on a roof. And then she basically had them drilled out. And then she has the PVC pipe to collect the runoff water. And as she said, she has a valve here she could just turn. And then it basically lets all the water collect inside here so that she could do a flood and drain. But if she wants to drain it out, she could take it out, because if these got full of water, they get quite heavy. Also, of course, she has the irrigation plumbed in on top, coming in to water. So any comments, Wendy, on the setup that you have?
I'm really happy with it, because I originally thought of this before you said that, but I didn't know how the heck I would be able to execute it, because I remember I was trying to think, how do I elevate this, because it's going to... You need a little bit of space for that drain, the PVC connector.
Well, you could cut off the side. You could cut a new drain off the side, which, you know.
Which was, yeah, so I got
Custom.
these used, so it was even better, because I guess it was already, it was a pre-drill, because these are used
I see,
trays.
yeah.
And my very first idea before thinking about this was I thought I was going to get a bunch of those drain trays, because that was like the
I
easiest
see.
setup.
So yeah, so she
But
has
they're
this
really
drain
pricey.
tray here, which actually goes to like a threaded thing to
Yeah.
connect to the PVC directly. But then, what was the cost of this drain tray, Wendy, versus like this flood table?
Oh, well, oh gosh, I forget. It's either 20 something or 40 something dollars for one piece, because that size is big.
For just, and it's for one plant, okay?
Yeah, it's for like for that little, that round space is probably about 18 inches diagonal, like
Circle,
diameter.
yeah,
sorry.
diameter, yeah.
Yeah, the inside, because it's actually elevated. That the base is sitting on that terracotta, the wider base has a little elevated base for the pot to sit on top. So what you're really calculating on is however big you can fit, like in that upper, the raised
one.
area. So it's really just 18 inches diameter. Even though this is 22 inches across, but the base, it's actually raised and it's only 18 inches.
Oh, I see right here, yeah.
But I think it was like maybe 40 something bucks.
$40 for this
It's
one.
a lot. Yeah. So like you can see it adds up like quickly. These aren't cheap too, but if you get them used, I think I paid maybe $20
for one of these?
Yeah.
Wow.
Sometimes I think certain deals I even got for like $10. But
Yeah, so you
these
just
would
gotta,
cost
like-
200, I think. Like,
Yeah, brand new is ridiculous, but you look on Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp,
OfferUp,
Craigslist,
yep.
you know, people, especially here in California, that used to grow, you know, medicinal herbs, I will say,
Yep.
that are getting out of the business, then just basically need to get rid of these for cheap. And I've picked up used for so cheap also.
For sure. I found one with a stamp of that pretty leaf.
Oh, the pretty leaf. Yeah, we can't mention on my YouTube channel because they demonetize me.
Yeah, so this was really good, because then I get to put a lot more plants in here. Those ones would just be very stationary, you know. Yeah, so this was really good, especially when you mentioned that. I was like, oh yeah, all of a sudden that light bulb came on. And yeah, I was gonna even build out the bottom frame, but no need. Actually, it was really easy to just put these 2x4s on the bottom,
underneath,
like
yeah.
crisscross, like a tic-tac-toe thing,
I
and
see.
set them on top. Yeah.
And you do all the PVC plumbing yourself, like you cut it and glued it and everything?
Yeah. These, only the parts that's connected to the drains are glued. These ones are all free. I just used a mallet and like hammer.
Oh, they're
it in.
free, so they could leak a little bit.
So far they haven't. There was a leak I was able to fix because I just had to push
Made it
something
tighter.
about. Yeah, but I don't think. Yeah, really.
Wow, cool.
Yeah, because I just in case I need to move things around, or I don't know. Yeah, I like them to be flexible. Yeah, but I'm excited to see how these things would grow up, because I think the drawback right now is that they're in shallow pots. I can't put them in big pots, so that's the compromise. I have more sun now and more space. A little more space than before, right? But I'm not filling up this rooftop entirely, and they're sitting in quite small size pots. So we'll see how it goes.
What size pots would you like to use? Like what depth?
I think 15 inches deep would be nice. I think this is the biggest one I have right here.
And then what are most of your pots? How deep?
Probably six inches.
But I mean, a
6
lot of
to
things
8
you're growing in
inches.
6 inches look pretty good.
Pretty good, yeah. Probably just need
Like all up in there, like all the marigolds, and maybe those
Yeah.
are like more annuals. Like you got some what, bok choys or
They're like the purple tatsoi.
purple tatsoi, but they're green.
They were purple before, and then they
It's
got.
getting too warm.
I think so, because it was like super black at first, and then now they're getting green. Yep. And they're super fast growing, and yeah, I think a lot of annuals, veggies, 6 inches is okay, you know. But it's like the certain things like the Luffa or the gourds or certain things I want to grow. But that's just what I'm working with. So.
And then you want to talk about the planting mix you use for a lighter mix instead of just
Yeah.
using like, you know, sand or clay that's super heavy. You're using a lighter custom blend potting mix that you
Absolutely.
make. So do you have any here we could see?
I think I used it all out, but there's some cocoa coir you can see there. So I started out with just cocoa coir, perlite, vermiculite, worm castings, some fertilizers, like slow release fertilizers, like a 444 or something. I got some kelp seaweed grind up. I get them for like the ones they feed pets.
Oh, wow.
And I mixed it in. I just ran out of rock dust, but just different kind of minerals, and the base is perlite and the cocoa core. And then now I started to mix in the Fox Farm potting soil as well.
And do you add in any compost or worm castings?
Worm castings, yeah, I mentioned worm castings.
But no compost. So it's like, so basically we have a potting mix. So for me, I guess the thing is like, that's very, like I would want more nutrients in there.
Yeah, so right now, I'm doing more like weekly feeding nutrients.
So you do that manually, I see.
Manually, but I need to sift out my compost because actually I don't know where I can get good compost yet. So so far it's just only home. Yeah, so right now I need to sift through my composter to get that to use. But other than that, that's why I'm kind of depending on, I brought like the good potting soil so that, because that has compost.
Somewhat,
so so that's what I'm using as a substitute right now.
Right, so you just add a lot more worm castings.
I do. I use a lot of worm castings. I use a lot of the vermistera because I test out a lot of the plants and how they grow in their products, so they can send me some of those. And then I also use their worm casting teas, and the ones that's more concentrated, I call it Vitality, and it's like really concentrated. So I use that. I try to do it weekly. That's what I'm substituting with, is like. So
you do weekly feeding of
the
compost tea.
But I use like the 444 one, so I think it's mainly like chicken manure base.
Okay.
Yeah. Sort of this garden is in transition right now because I started in the middle of summer, like I said. So some things are still holding off.
So it's like 6 months old?
Yeah. I think so. I started pretty close. 5 or 6 months old, yeah. So some things that are still doing well or holding on, like the Luffa, I'm trying to see however long I can. This one I actually, because there was no male flower around when this was flowering, I took the zucchini and I flowered it. I pollinated.
With zucchini?
Yeah.
So that's going to be maybe some weird Luffa
Yeah,
cross.
it already looks a little different than the other one. First of all, I don't know, it's not going as big either because it got cold faster than before, or because it's in a pot, or is it because it's cross-pollinated with a zucchini and it's greener than how I usually
and that's your super long Luffas that are edible even at 4 feet.
Yep. So it's like this big and it's hardening.
And this guy got flowered and pollinated on its own?
This one, there was no other flowers around, so I picked up an old flower here that's part of its own flower, but it's like a day or two old. It still had some pollen, so I'm just giving it a shot. So we'll see what happens with that one. It's like hand pollinated with its own, with the male, but it's like an old male flower. And this one with the zucchini, the smell is a little different than what I'm familiar with. So is it because of the cross, or is it because there's more sun? Is it because it's grown in a pot? There's a lot of things are different this time around, so I can't
less
say.
nutrients in the pot.
Less nutrients, and it's colder. Like, so I don't know, but this is a cross for sure. But other than that, I started growing out some more things from seed. I'm really excited to grow a lot more varieties now that I have more sun. So I got like the funky, is it called, filter cabbage? You know, the one that, I think that's what it's called, that German heirloom that looks like a corn.
Funny, the
I
shape.
love all, then the purple I started. So a lot of different like cool weather crops right now are slowly coming in. So this is kind of like an in-between state you're catching this garden at.
All right, cool. And if you want more updates on the rooftop garden, more in-depth details on how she did every element, including the irrigation and everything else, check out Wendiland.
Yes, Wendiland. YouTube channel down below. And I do have like I call it the Sky Garden or Rooftop Garden series. So that pretty much documents that whole time I set this whole thing up. Yeah.
Awesome. Any final words of wisdom you'd like to share with my gardeners today, Wendy?
If you're starting out gardening, I mean, you should with whatever space you have. Even, grow in a windowsill, you can grow some microgreens or work with your space, because that's how I do it.
Yeah, I mean, I bought 3 acres in Puerto Rico. I have just standard tract houses where I fill my backyard or front yard. If you have any space, even a patio on your apartment, right? Maybe you could have access to the roof of your townhouse or your house. Or, Enoch grows in his carport roof. There's so many different places to grow wherever there's some sunlight. Even if there's shade, like Wendy's alleyway, you guys can grow. So, our message today is we want you guys to get growing some edible crops. You guys could grow yourself, harvest yourself, have fresher food, more delicious, and be free of the industrial agriculture system that I supported a bunch this morning myself. So if you guys want to learn more about Wendi, check her out at Wendiland YouTube channel down below. Her website is wendiland.com. All our links are down below to her social media, Instagram, Facebook as well. If you guys enjoyed this episode today here on the Wendiland Rooftop Sky Garden, thumb this video up, and more importantly, share this with other people to inspire them on how they too can grow on a roof safely, so you don't compromise your building or your structure by using some techniques that Wendi actually implemented here. Also, be sure to click that subscribe button right down below so you don't miss my new upcoming episodes over coming in 5 to 7 days. You never know where I'll show up or what you'll be learning on my YouTube channel. And make sure you click the little bell so you get notified as many videos come out. And finally, be sure to check my past episodes. The past episodes are a wealth of knowledge. Over 1,700 episodes at this time on this channel dedicated to you guys all about how to grow your own food at home. And links down below to videos I made with Wendi in the past, including her original alleyware 6-foot garden, where she's growing food in her garden, which is continually changing in her alley because every time I come here, there's new and different things growing on. So with that, my name is John Kohler with growingyourgreens.com. We'll see you next time. And until then, remember, keep on growing.